The price of silence. The darkness pressed against them like a living thing, thick and suffocating. Isaiah felt Hannah's hand gripping his with desperate strength, her nails digging into his palm as they listened to the boots moving across the barn floor above them. Each footstep sent small showers of dust and straw filtering down through the cracks between the floorboards. Ruth stirred against Abigail's chest, making a small sound, not quite a whimper, more like a sleepy murmur. Abigail's hand clamped tighter over her daughter's mouth, and Isaiah saw the terror in her eyes even in the near-total darkness of the root cellar. The child's eyelids were fluttering, the sleeping tea finally losing its hold after hours of flight. "Search every corner," the voice above commanded. Not Crow. Isaiah had heard Crow's voice enough to know it anywhere. This man spoke with the flat authority of someone accustomed to obedience. "Check the hayloft, the stalls, behind every barrel and crate. Mrs. Belmont is offering $50 for each one we bring back. That's $400 walking around somewhere, and I aim to collect $50. Isaiah's stomach twisted. They'd raised the reward from the initial offer. $400 total would bring every bounty hunter and poor white man in 3 counties running. "Yes, sir, Mr. Garrett," another voice responded, younger, eager. Dogs picked up a scent about a quarter mile from here, heading this direction. Trail goes cold at the creek, but they were definitely moving north. Isaiah felt Moses tense beside him in the cramped space. The blacksmith's massive frame took up nearly a quarter of the root cellar by itself, and Isaiah could feel the heat radiating from the man's body in the confined darkness. On Moses's other side, Mercy lay against the earthen wall, her breathing shallow and labored. The old woman had barely made it to the Patterson farm. Isaiah wasn't sure she could survive another night of running. Above them, friend Patterson's calm voice responded, "I've seen no one, friend. My wife and I retired early this evening. We heard nothing unusual." "That so?" Garrett's boots moved closer to the center of the barn. Isaiah tracked the sound, picturing the man's position. Directly above the root cellar entrance now, maybe 3 feet from the concealed trapdoor. Funny thing about that creek. Seems like an awful convenient place to lose a trail, right near a known Quaker farm. "The creek has been there somewhat longer than my farm," Patterson replied mildly. "I cannot speak to its convenience for any particular purpose." A dog barked sharply outside, and Isaiah felt every muscle in his body locked tight. The hound's baying grew louder, more insistent. Another joined it, then a third. The pack was circling the barn. "Bring those dogs inside," Garrett ordered. "Let's see what they find." Isaiah's mind raced. The root cellar was well constructed, its entrance hidden beneath a layer of loose straw and a heavy wooden panel designed to look like part of the barn floor. But dogs didn't rely on sight. If they caught the scent of 8 terrified, sweat-soaked fugitives, Ruth's eyes opened fully. For one terrible moment, Isaiah saw the confusion in them, the child's mind struggling to understand why she was being held so tightly in the dark, why her mother's hand covered her mouth. Then understanding began to dawn, and with it, fear. Abigail pulled her daughter closer, whispering directly into her ear, so quiet Isaiah could barely hear even pressed against them as he was. "Shh, baby. Shh. We're playing the quiet game, remember? The one Mama taught you? We have to be mice, little quiet mice." The barn door scraped open again, and the sound of claws on wood announced the dog's entrance. 3 of them by the sound, maybe 4. They spread out immediately, snuffling and snorting as they quartered the space. "Good boys," someone encouraged. "Find 'em. Find 'em, boys." Samuel's hand found Elijah's in the darkness. The boy, no, the young man, Isaiah corrected himself because Samuel had proven himself a man these past 2 days, squeezed his sister's fingers. Elijah's ankle was badly swollen from her fall in the creek, the joint hot and tight when Isaiah had examined it earlier. She'd kept up through sheer determination, but he could hear her breathing now, quick and pained. One of the dogs moved directly overhead, its claws clicking on the floorboards. It paused, sniffed, moved in a tight circle. "What's he got?" Garrett asked sharply. "Not sure, sir. Rex, what is it, boy?" The dog whined, scratched at the floor. Isaiah's heart hammered so hard he was certain everyone above could hear it. Beside him, Clara had gone absolutely still, her field-hardened body pressed against the earthen wall as if she could merge with it through sheer will. Rex barked once, sharp and insistent. Then again. "He's got something," the handler said. "Right here, under all this straw." "Clear it away," Garrett commanded. "Let's see what's got him so excited." Footsteps converged on their position. Isaiah heard the scrape of boots pushing straw aside, the rustle and whisper of dried grass being swept away. Any moment now they'd see the trapdoor. Any moment now. "Probably just rats," Patterson said calmly. "The barn is old. They nest in the walls, under the floor. The dogs always get excited about the rats." "Maybe," Garrett said, but he didn't sound convinced. The scraping continued. Isaiah could picture it, the straw being cleared away in wider circles, exposing more and more of the barn floor. His hand moved to his waist, to the small knife he'd taken from the Patterson kitchen. If they were discovered, if the trapdoor was opened, he would not let them take Hannah. He would not let them take any of them. Better to die fighting than go back to that hell. Hannah's grip on his hand tightened, as if she could read his thoughts. In the darkness, her lips found his ear. "No," she breathed, barely a whisper. "Not yet." Above them, Rex barked again, but the sound was moving away now, toward the back of the barn. The other dogs joined him, their attention shifting to some new scent or sound. "Check the back stalls," Garrett ordered. "And someone get up in that loft. I want every inch of this barn searched." The footsteps moved away from their position. Isaiah felt some of the crushing tension ease, though his heart still raced. They weren't discovered yet. Not yet. Ruth's small body relaxed slightly in Abigail's arms, the child's eyes drifting half-closed again. But she was awake now, aware, and the sleeping tea was spent. If she cried out, if she called for her mother in confusion or fear. The search continued above them for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. Men climbed into the loft, their weight making the whole barn structure creak and groan. They moved barrels, opened crates, thrust pitchforks into piles of hay. The dogs ranged back and forth, barking occasionally, but without the sustained intensity that would indicate a find. Finally, Garrett's voice cut through the activity. "Anything?" "Nothing, sir," came the responses. "Loft's clear. Back stall's empty. Just rats and old tack." A long pause. Isaiah could almost feel the man's frustration, his certainty that something was wrong, warring with the lack of evidence. "Friend Patterson," Garrett said finally, his voice cold. "You understand that harboring fugitive slaves is a federal crime. The Fugitive Slave Act is quite clear on this matter. Anyone who aids or conceals runaways can be fined up to $1,000 and imprisoned for 6 months." "I am aware of the law," Patterson replied, his tone unchanged. "I am also aware that I have harbored no one. You are welcome to search my house as well if you wish. My wife will make tea while you do so." Another pause. Then, "We may take you up on that. But first, I want to check the property, the fields, the outbuildings, anywhere someone might hide." "As you wish. I will accompany you to ensure no damage is done to my property." The footsteps moved toward the barn door. The dogs were called to heel, their claws clicking on the wooden floor as they followed their handlers out. The barn door scraped closed, and the sounds began to fade. Boots on gravel, men's voices giving orders, dogs barking in the distance. But no one in the root cellar moved. No one spoke. They remained frozen in the darkness, barely breathing, because they all knew this could be a trick. The men could be waiting just outside, listening for any sound that would betray hidden fugitives. Minutes crawled by, 5, 10, 15. Ruth's eyes opened again, wider this time. She looked up at her mother, then around at the darkness, at the earthen walls barely visible in the faint light that filtered through the floorboards. Her small body tensed, and Isaiah saw the question forming in her eyes, the confusion giving way to fear. Abigail bent her head close to her daughters, whispering so quietly Isaiah had to strain to hear. "We're safe, baby. We're safe. But we have to stay quiet a little longer. Can you do that for Mama? Can you be brave?" Ruth nodded, but her lower lip was trembling. The child was 4 years old, had been drugged and carried through a swamp, had hidden in a cave and jumped into an underground river, had been cold and wet and terrified for 2 days straight. The fact that she hadn't broken down completely was a testament to both her strength and Abigail's fierce mothering. But everyone has their limits. Even brave little girls. Moses shifted slightly, his massive hand reaching out to gently touch Ruth's small one. "You're doing so good," he rumbled, his deep voice barely above a whisper. "You're the bravest girl I ever met. Your mama's proud of you. We're all proud of you. Ruth looked at Moses, her eyes wide in the darkness. Then slowly she nodded again. Her hand curled around one of the blacksmith's thick fingers, holding tight. More time passed. Isaiah counted heartbeats, breaths, anything to keep his mind occupied. Beside him, Hannah had begun to shake. Not from fear, he realized, but from cold. They were all soaked through from their time in the creek, and the root cellar was damp and chill. Mercy's breathing had grown more ragged, a wet sound that Isaiah didn't like at all. Finally, after what must have been half an hour, they heard the barn door open again. Light footsteps, quick and purposeful. Then Rachel Patterson's voice, low and urgent. They're searching the fields now, but they'll be back. They don't believe us. That man Garrett, he suspects. A pause, and Isaiah imagined her listening, making sure no one was nearby. I'm going to lift the door just enough to pass down some blankets and food. Don't make a sound. They could return at any moment. The trapdoor lifted a few inches, and blessed light flooded in. Lamplight, warm and golden. Rachel's face appeared in the gap, her expression tight with worry. She passed down 2 heavy wool blankets, then a cloth bundle that smelled of bread and cheese. The dogs didn't catch your scent because of the herbs we spread, she whispered. Pennyroyal and sage mixed into the straw. It confuses their noses, but it won't work forever. If they bring fresh dogs, or if that man decides to search more thoroughly. How long? Isaiah asked, his voice hoarse from hours of silence. Rachel shook her head. I don't know. They're determined. That reward, $50 per person, it's more money than most of these men will see in a year. They won't give up easily. She glanced over her shoulder, then back down at them. My husband is stalling them, showing them every corner of the property. But when they're done, they'll likely post men to watch the farm. They'll wait to see if you appear. We're trapped, Clara said flatly. Not trapped, Rachel corrected. Hidden. There's a difference. We've sheltered others before, kept them safe for days or even weeks when necessary. You're not the first to hide in this cellar, and God willing, you won't be the last. She pushed the cloth bundle closer to Isaiah. Eat. Rest. Keep the child quiet. When it's safe to move you, we will. But it may be tomorrow night or the night after. You must be patient. We can be patient, Isaiah said, though his heart rebelled at the thought of staying trapped in this hole while armed men searched for them above. Rachel nodded, started to lower the door, then paused. One more thing. We received word from a contact south of here. The woman who returned unexpectedly, Mrs. Belmont. She's put word out across 3 counties. She's not just offering money, she's making it personal. She wants you back, all of you, and she's telling everyone that you're dangerous, that you're armed and violent. We're not, Hannah said quickly. We haven't hurt anyone. I know that, but the men hunting you don't. Be warned, they may shoot first rather than risk capture. They believe they're hunting dangerous criminals, not people seeking freedom. With that grim warning, Rachel lowered the trapdoor, plunging them back into darkness. But not complete darkness now. A thin line of lamplight showed around the edges of the door, just enough to see by. Isaiah distributed the blankets, wrapping one around Mercy's frail shoulders and the other around Ruth and Abigail. The child was shivering, her small body pressed tight against her mother's chest. He unwrapped the cloth bundle and found bread, hard cheese, dried apples, and a small jar of water. They ate in silence, each person taking only what they needed, knowing the food had to last. The bread was coarse but good, the cheese sharp and filling. Ruth nibbled at a piece of apple, her eyes heavy-lidded again, despite her earlier waking. When the food was distributed and the water passed around, Moses spoke, his voice a low rumble in the darkness. We're going to make it. We've come this far, survived this much. God didn't bring us through that swamp and that cave just to let us die in a hole in the ground. God helps those who help themselves, Samuel said. The young man's voice was harder than it had been 2 days ago, aged by everything they'd endured. We can't just wait here forever. If they post guards, if they're watching the farm, how do we get out? We trust the Pattersons, Isaiah said firmly. They know what they're doing. This isn't their first time hiding runaways. But it might be their last, Elijah said quietly. If we're caught here, they'll go to prison, maybe worse. The weight of that truth settled over them. These Quaker farmers were risking everything. Their freedom, their property, possibly their lives, to shelter 8 strangers. The courage that required was staggering. "Then we make sure we're not caught," Hannah said. Her hand found Isaiah's again in the darkness. "We stay quiet, we stay hidden, and when the moment comes to run again, we run fast and we don't look back." Above them, the sound of returning footsteps made everyone freeze. The barn door opened and Garrett's voice carried clearly. "Post 2 men here, 2 at the house. I want eyes on this property day and night. If those runaways are here, or if they come here, I want to know about it." "Yes, sir," came the responses. "And send word to the other farms in the area. I want every Quaker household watched. These people hide runaways like it's their God-given duty. Well, we'll see how devoted they are when they're facing federal charges." The footsteps moved away again, but this time they didn't fade entirely. Isaiah could hear men settling in. The creak of wood as someone sat down, the low murmur of conversation. The guards were taking up their posts. In the root cellar, 8 people looked at each other in the dim light filtering through the floorboards. They had escaped the plantation, survived the swamp, made it through the underground river, and reached the first safe house on their journey north. But now they were trapped, with armed guards above and a woman's fury driving the hunt below. Freedom was still 30 miles away, across countryside now crawling with men who saw them not as human beings, but as $400 in reward money. Ruth's small voice broke the silence, barely a whisper. "Mama, when can we go home?" Abigail's face crumpled for just a moment before she pulled herself together. She stroked her daughter's hair, her voice steady despite the tears Isaiah could see gathering in her eyes. "Soon, baby. Soon we'll have a new home. A place where no one can hurt us, where we can be free. Promise?" Abigail looked at Isaiah over her daughter's head, and he saw the desperate hope in her eyes, the need to believe that this nightmare would end, that they would survive. "I promise," Abigail whispered, though everyone in that cellar knew it was a promise she might not be able to keep. Above them, one of the guards began to whistle, a cheerful tune, incongruous and terrible in its casual normalcy. To him, this was just a job, just another hunt. He couldn't know or wouldn't care that beneath his feet, 8 human beings huddled in the dark, praying for a miracle that might never come.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.